A rose is just a concept of reality. Each colour holds meaning, and the stem is the force that allows the strength and the free will to grow and be an object of pain and pleasure. The sun gives nourishment and as well as water. The roots anchor it to the soil. A rose withstands the elements because it is flexible and strong. Be like a rose. A long time ago I looked up at the night sky and found emptiness. All I could see were bright lights in the veil of darkness, and I believed in nothing, for there was nothing to believe in. But for food and water, a new life. For times were simple back then. We didn't have money. We used kindness for what was done for us. We paid back in kindness. We only recently discovered fire. About half of my life ago, from this stranger that came to our village, who showed us these special stones and some dry wood. It was amazing to see the light come from stone, and it birthed fire. We were all envious of all the villages. All the villages were envious of us. So I guess the first form of currency was fire, as we would trade the fire for food and clothing, meat and produce. It was simple. By the time we learned to make torches, it was possible to transport fire. Sometimes some of the young kids would sneak into other villages and kick dirt over the fire, so they would have to come back and get more, because they didn't understand the secrets of creating the fire. It turned out to be very profitable, because we were the only village that knew how to make it. We knew the correct stones and where to find them. Then one day the stranger that taught us this came back. He he was an old man, and he asked, "Why haven't you shared the knowledge I gave you with the other villagers?" I asked for nothing, for showing you how to make fire, and you use that knowledge to be greedy with what you have. I see your village has grown 10 times, and you have many children and cooked meats and prepared hanging in your homes. Why didn't you share what I gave you? All the guys in charge of everyone wanted to speak with the stranger, so they sat around a grand table in the biggest house in the village, and the stranger said, "Why didn't you share what I gave you?" The leader says nothing and looks ashamed. Then the stranger says, "I thought you were people of kindness, for what I gave you was my kindness, and I just guessed you would have done the same, and you would have done the same and shared the knowledge with your the surrounding villages. Them in your village has become greedy. Kindness, I see, has become secondary to greed." Leader says nothing. The stranger says, "I am leaving now. I'm ashamed by our actions." The leader says, "Please don't leave. Please don't go. We promised to show them how to make fire." The stranger says they will be consequences. So the next day, everyone in the village wakes up, and all the houses and huts are all burning in flames, because the stranger showed all the surrounding villages how to make fire, and they took their revenge. A story of Jack the Ripper wannabe. These slices of rage that have become chapters of my life are but moments for other people to remember. The soul of the body is cast upon the rocks to see the breaking of the dawn and the smell of the mist in the air, mourning the coldness on the hands and the daily labour of work, to yet again fill me with sadness, for I have lived a grand life, done many amazing things. I have enjoyed servants waiting on me every need, but sadly my actions are the reason I am here, for you see I murdered a man, and that one moment of madness meant I could never go back to my old life. I endured almost half my life in prison, a god-awful place, and I become this person writing this. I wish not to go into detail of my crimes, but one thing I'd been drinking and my demons ruled me. That night I took from the bottom drawer a knife, and I went upon the grounds of the castle, and in my rage I knew not what I was doing, and I waited there in the darkness, and the poison in my veins, fueling my rage to kill, for I had experienced life and eaten good food and slept with many women, and always strived to experience more. In these I read, in these murdering excitement. Oh, I always strive to new experiences. I read most nights murder mysteries in books and novels, and every night I would dream of what it was like to murder, and enjoy the moments where their whole existence is in my hand. Let me carry on, for I have gone off track where I was. Oh yeah, I was waiting in the darkened alleyway with a shaving knife, and as a man and woman walked up the road, their feet on the stone ground seemed to mimic the beating of my heart, and as they came closer, then I could smell the perfume of the beautiful woman who could not have been more than 21. I rose from my stationary position, and in a simply screamed at the couple. The male with the top hat run off, leaving this beautiful woman unprotected. I laughed, and the woman said, "Who was that man?" She replies, "It was my father." I proceeded to laugh. What a fool, what a pathetic fool. Cowardness is the reason I remain silent, and the woman whimpers and starts to cry and seems to be frozen with fear. I hold onto my shaving knife, and as fast as I could, my hand whips around the woman's throat, and she gasps. The open wound as I stand there, and it was early hours of the morning, and no one will be around. Till sunrise I stood there with the bravery of an army, in hopes the father returns with friends, but he did not, and I just thought, what a pathetic wimp. I bent over the slowly dying body of the woman and removed a ring. The funny part is the ring was still on the finger as I put it in my pocket. I dug a hole with the shaving knife, and in between the stones, I Funny part is the ring was still on the finger as I put it in my pocket. I dug a hole with the shaving knife, and in between the stone walking away I pushed the shaving knife deep into the ground between the stone and soil. I covered it with more dirt so it looks like it had not been disturbed. The next day I woke up in my comfy bed, and a maid came in and said to me, "Sir, do you want any eggs with your bacon?" I replied, "Just the bacon." A substance becomes all on a thought is birth, an entity on a cosmic scale touching every point, and it saw levels within itself, and over time it has seen and observed life grow, develop, and die a million thousand planets. Then it knew it was endless, and over time it pulled itself apart, manipulated itself to create another like itself. It exists in its own area of space and subspace, and the many more levels of existence, and like a father it taught its creation to manipulate the surroundings and to think, understand itself and others that share its space and area, and this planet's younger entity watched its life father put it in place and grow, saw wonder and intelligence in the growing species, and over time the young entity encouraged them to make inventions and tools and fire, and over time the inventions began wars, and the father was among angry at the sun, so the sun purposefully encouraged them on the planet to kill, and further, the father was angry. Energy dispatches from the body at the point of death. It valves, veils, is positive or negative energy. I see these static energies, they travel alongside light, and if the room is in darkness and a window is closed, the energy is trapped, and existence for this energy. A moment is very time, takes a long time, and once you enter the room, your eye is receptive to the altered light due to the corrupting of the frequency that your brain is receptive to. It overloads, and a form of mental hijacking occurs, and you can have a sense of fear and panic, which was the last thing the frequency felt. And with the torturous time alone, it can turn negative and live in that moment of its own terrifying transference to a different level of substance and reality. Awareness forever. There's a positive aspect to this. There has been peaceful, where somebody has died peacefully, has been accepting of the inevitability of death, and has been prepared in a manner they believe in. Once you are inhabiting a level of reality people are not aware of, you see it like a dream, and you most likely be aware of others around you. These are others that have already transcended to the area you are now in. The morning that awoke me, the day that found me, and the light that guided me, and the hearts that shined upon me, for the moments that tempered me, and the hands that healed me, the stars that shined upon me, and the hearts that were shunned me, the words that were took from me, the years that were took from me, and everything else that was stolen from me, and them that run from me, and them that believed in me, and them that shouted at me, the people that made me, I did it for them that will never know me. The man becometh the god when the candle casts no light, the journey of mind without sound or sight. The road becomes all rocky, but the air is sweet. I hold up this heart for all to see, and let you judge the worst parts of me. My promise is an ending written on my soul. I will hold on to eternity and make this my goal. The pitiful and unworthy will be cast down to dwell in the garden of filth, where the sensations are that of a weeping child that can never die. My love resides within you all, and my anger and the rage of the hard-hearted self I see in the centre of all there is. I see endless possibilities, I see substance and light and darkness. The calmness of the morning is the chorus of the sun, so it may rise and bring new life to the day, so that the birds know when to wake and the owls know when to sleep. May joy and happiness be with you always. You may be tired and feel as if you are not who you want to be when you look in the mirror. This is just a reflection. The people around you see you for who you are, your humour, your shared emotions, and them amazing smile I know you have. Right, that's everything. I've tried to. Some of it's just scribble, so I can't really read it properly. But yeah, I just wanted to literally go through my book and just go through all the stuff that was legible, that kind of made some kind of sense. Some of it, yeah, I haven't said most of it perfect, but yeah, I thought I'd end it there. Thanks for getting to the end if you did.